to the Think It, Get It podcast. I'm your host, Noor, and welcome to my little corner of YouTube / the podcast world. I'm super excited to come today and bring you an episode where I'm going to be talking about one of the biggest misconceptions about manifestation. And honestly, it's probably the thing that has helped me so much over the last few years. Before I dive into that, if you're brand new here in my world, my name is Noor. I help people master their mindset so they can, nope, I got it already wrong. I help people transform their mindsets so they can master manifestation and create a life of freedom. So whether you are, whether you're a business person or not, whether you are 50 or 20, whether you're a male or female, it doesn't really matter. If you're here to change your life, if you're here knowing that you're meant for more and not really sure how to get there, then this podcast is for you. So I'm the creator of the VIA manifesting method. And I really believe that there's 3 important components to transforming your life and mastering manifestation. The first is vision, the second is identity, and the third is action. So if you're new here, I'm not going to bore you with telling you all about my story, etc. But if you head to my website in the show notes, you can read a bit more about me, what I do, and how you can take your manifesting journey to the next freaking level. So I wanted to make this podcast episode a little bit shorter and sweeter, but wanted to cover something I think is so incredibly important. And I really want to tell you how I got to this point. So when I first read the book, The Secret, when I was 23 years old, that was the first time I read it. It talked a lot about positive thinking, a lot about staying positive, and that if you could stay positive, that you'd be able to manifest everything that you want. So I came to realize over the next 15 years of really understanding this stuff in a bit more depth, 40 years, that actually positive thinking is an important piece of it, but absolutely not going to help you manifest if you don't have all the other things in place. So your positive thinking is a bit like putting makeup on, but if you don't have good skincare, the positive thinking is not going to work. Or as I like to put it, it's a bit like sprinkling glitter on a pile of shit for most people. And the reality is positive thinking is great. It's great for mental health. It's great to have a positive outlook on life. But if deep down in your subconscious, your belief systems are in contradiction with positive thinking, or what you're positively thinking about, you're actually not going to manifest what you want, which is why what is happening in your subconscious mind is incredibly important. So I'm actually holding a exclusive secret podcast series called Slay Your Subconscious. This podcast series really is geared towards business women and female entrepreneurs. Even if you're not one, you can definitely listen to it and it will be helpful, but it really is going to be speaking to those people. We're going to be talking about business, entrepreneurship, money mindset, things like that I think really pertains to business women, because I really realize more than ever how many incredible female entrepreneurs are struggling with feeling stuck, overwhelmed, scared. They don't understand why, and I'm going to tell you why. It's all happening in a subconscious mind. So this secret podcast series is for you. You can save your spot by heading to the show notes. This will not be made on public platforms, so you need to be in and registered in order to be able to get access to this. So if you want access, head to show notes. It'll be in there. Sign up and reserve your spot. We'll be starting that on March 27th. So back to the secret, right? So positive thinking. And so this whole notion of manifestation being related to positive thinking has actually caused one of the greatest misconceptions that I think so many people have. And by the way, I did. I literally believed if I wasn't positive 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, that I would literally end up not manifesting what I want. So then I actually had this slight fear of oh my God, I've had one negative thought. Oh my God, I've had a bad day. Oh my God, this has happened. And I then, I'm annoyed at myself for doing that. And there's this compound effect of all these negative emotions. So I'm here to tell you that you do not have to fucking fear. That this is the biggest and also one of the most damaging misconceptions of manifestation, is that you need to be positive all the time. Otherwise, you are not manifesting what you want. So I have a manifesting method, and step 4 of that is called tuning into Universe FM. And tuning into Universe FM is vibrational mastery. It is recognizing that the energy you're putting out there is going to either be repelling or attracting what you want. But here's the kicker. You don't actually need to be tuned into Universe FM 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Is it better to be in that way? Absolutely. Who doesn't like a positive, high vibe person? But if something happens, because we're human, we live in the human world, shit happens, and it comes off and knocks you off your pedestal, it's not all going to go to shit. Everything you've been trying to manifest isn't going to suddenly just poof and disappear. Because, and the reason that I know this, the reason I know this more than anything is this. When I was pregnant with my son Casper, who is now he's 13 months old, I had the best year in my business, but I had one of the worst years in how I felt. So, of course, I'm so bloody incredibly blessed that I get to be pregnant with my 4th child. So please understand that this is not me being ungrateful, but I fell pregnant with him. And isn't it funny how people say I fell pregnant? I just think about that. Americans find that funny because they don't say that. So if you're American, and I know it's funny, in England that's what we say. We say I fell, like I fucking just slipped and fell and got pregnant. Anyway, I got pregnant. No, my husband made me pregnant. I got pregnant, and pretty much from like the early stages of my pregnancy, before I'd even announced it, I started to get unwell, and this was when COVID was literally in the height, and I got COVID. And so I'd had morning sickness, like really terrible morning sickness for weeks and weeks and weeks. It kind of went off, and then I started to get it back again. And I started to trouble with my breathing. I got a bad cold, and then I lost my taste and smell. And I realized I had COVID, but it hit me in a very different way. And I think it's because I was pregnant. I was just vomiting constantly. So when I had morning sickness, I wasn't really vomiting. But when I had COVID, I was vomiting a lot. So I was vomiting a lot. I couldn't keep anything down. And I don't know about you guys, but when I throw up, it's a fucking drama. Like, my body cannot help but make the most amount of noise. Like, so my kids are like, oh, mommy. I remember we were on holiday and it was like, I was throwing up. They were like, oh, you okay, mommy? Anyways, so then imagine pregnancy tiredness, then add on COVID tiredness. Oh my gosh. So I was like, really like, just, whoa, I can't, how am I going to build my business? How am I going to do this stuff? And so, so that was kind of difficult with that part. And then I had long COVID and I was struggling with my breathing for a while. And so I was feeling really not great. And then that kind of passed. And as soon as I started getting bigger with my pregnancy, I was suffering with other issues. Absolutely terrible back pain. I was completely insomniac, like I struggled to sleep. And it was just a really difficult time. I got something that I'd never had before with the kids, which were called lightning crotch. Oh my God, I never had it with my 3 girls. It's like sciatic nerve pain, but right up your crotch to the point where it will stop me in my tracks. Literally made me cry. It's crazy town. So this was all happening in my physical body, which was of course having an impact on my mental health. Yet I still managed to manifest the best year in my business financially. And I still managed to manifest things in my business that I thought I would have never been able to. I genuinely thought my business would suffer that year, that things would go downwards. But because I followed my 5 steps, because I knew the vision of what I wanted, I had done the work of understanding my belief systems around it. I was doing things to subconsciously rescript my mind during that time. So when I wasn't feeling well, I was listening to hypnosis and meditations, the things that I give my clients to do. I was doing all of that because I was lying in bed and I was so exhausted. I was like, I can just sit here and listen to stuff. So I was doing that stuff. I was tuning into Universe FM in terms of really like stepping into like that version of myself that was still creating what I wanted, despite the fact that I was physically suffering in a way. And I was still taking action when I could. And it was only aligned action. And oh my God, like the craziest stuff happened. And I manifested, I manifested getting another book deal. I'm pretty sure that was around that time when I was still not feeling great. I think I was still pregnant. Yeah, I was still pregnant. So all of this incredible stuff happened, and that's when I started to realize that you do not need to be positive all the time. You do not need to be like happy-go-lucky, singing in the rain, all the time. It's not about that. It's about the internal energy, not just about your physical energy. And so we are humans living in a physical world. Things are going to be happening that are going to knock us off. So I just want to put your mind at rest. If you're having a bad day, if you're having a bad hour, even if you decide to have a bad week, listen, you get to choose how to bounce back from that. And this is a lot of the conversation we have in the JFTI Academy, which is my membership. We talk about this a lot because, listen, we're humans, things happen. How do we get back on track? And we get that choice. We can do that. We can bring ourselves back home. We can bring ourselves back to, energy calibration. But I just want you to know that if it happens, don't be hard on yourself. You do not need to be positive 24 hours a day, 365 days a year in order to manifest what you want. Whew. Relief? Yes, we are all humans. If you've liked this episode and it's been helpful for you and given you a little bit of relief, do let me know. Tag me on Instagram at Noor_Hibbert. Let me know. Give me a little slide into my DMs and let me know. Leave a little comment under this YouTube video and let me know if this has been helpful for you. And I will catch up with you beautiful humans on the next episode of the Think It, Get It podcast. And if you obviously want to catch up more, remember to subscribe, because if you subscribe, you're going to get notifications. So massive love from me. Take care and goodbye.